A tale of two seasons here tonight as we see the Widnes Wild, who come into this game near the top of that division of the Laidler Conference, fighting it out with Altrincham Aces, go up against the Dragons, who are languishing down at the bottom of the league.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for the Dragons 2 team, but they're in development. We can't fault that. It's a lot of young players, a lot of inexperienced players, but Widnes, a team who narrowly missed out on promotion last year, surely the favourites to win the title here.
Absolutely, and of course, you look at the Dragons, they recently coming off their first win of the season against Blackburn, which gave them a little bit of room at the bottom of that table. They're nipping at the heels of Coventry. But for Widnes, these are the kind of must-win games that they need to keep themselves in contention against the likes of Altrincham and against the likes of teams like Sutton.
Well, Widnes, of course, recently defeated Sutton, who are, as we know, are a strong team. They were in the Morley last year. So they've come down to Laidler. They've got to be a team to be up in the top 4 at least, fighting away for a spot. But if Widnes want to maintain that second spot, winning against Sutton's fine. But games like this, on paper they look like a walkover. You can't eliminate them. You can't just go in complacent thinking you're going to win them. Dragons can be a tough team, especially when they come off the back of a win.
I think for me, one of the keys to this game for the Wild is consistency. This is a team that's had the same personnel for a long time, and with the likes of Ollie Barron leading the way, the return of a player like Sean Dipnell, who briefly played at the Dragons, a lot of consistency and a lot of a level going into this game.
Yeah, they've got some experience, and Ollie Barron was recently voted Player of the Month for the Laidler Conference. The guy is a powerhouse. He commands the ice, but when you watch him, you just see him casually skating around, looking for his spot, and then he'll sit near the goal, tap him in. He's good at what he does. He's not an aggressive player, but he knows what to do when it's counted, and the rest of the team have followed him. He's got a good squad of players. You can't fault them. I certainly tip them to be one of the teams, if not the team, to win this conference.
There you have it. Let's see how they get on tonight against the Dragons. The Dragons, who are hoping to return to form after their first win of the season. Can they take that momentum into this game? We'll find out. It's the big local derby. It's Widnes Dragons, and it's coming up right now. Time to drop the puck. Face-off won by the Dragons. They come out firing. Couldn't get the puck into the Widnes zone though. And it's Gilbert. Took a shot, went off the skate of Steve Fellows. Fellows with a poke check there. Manages to clear it. Tries to get it across ice, can't quite reach that. And so Widnes regroup. Tom Ratcliffe sent ahead to Gilbert, just chipped in behind the net. Gilbert takes it. Looking for space up front, takes the shot. Fellows has lost his stick there. As the Dragons try to dump it out, they can't. Another shot on net, and that's going to be held by Lavery. Wild from the face-off. Cross-ice pass. And the puck's loose out front. Nice attempt there from Brittle.
And it's that man, Ollie Barron, that was up ice there. The pass come to him. He's passed it back in. It was almost in the net there. Oh, an opportunity for the Dragons there.
Puck was loose out front as Fico takes another shot at it. And another attempt there from number 17, that's Sobolev. Dragons again, Sobolev. Plenty of attempts on net here. Both teams looking confident, early going. As Barron skates it right down to the net.
It's in!
Puck's loose out front and Brittle gets it in. It's a goal! Widnes Wild. First on the scoreboard, 5 minutes into this game. Barron and Brittle doing what they do best.
Yeah, Brittle was just there for the second attempt when save by Lavery there. And unfortunately, she was already sprawled across the ice. It was a simple tap in for Brittle, and the Wild take a 1-0 lead.
Dragons win the face-off in the Wild zone, and they are on the power play now. 2 minutes for slashing assessed to Gilbert.
which gives the Dragons their best opportunity so far of the night, and they really need to capitalise on this. Wild have gone up 1-0 early in this period.
Oh, it's in!
A goal for Brittle is going to be a short-handed goal, and the Widnes Wild just tearing apart the Dragons' defence now.
Yeah, it's that back line where they're sending the puck back into ice in front of the goal. Brittle there just to slot it home past Teague and Lavery. It's going to be a tough night.
Dragons from the face-off. They've got 40 seconds remaining in their power play opportunity as Fico skates it down the ice. Knocked into the boards by Armstrong. And they give up the puck to the Wild, and the Wild are now going to try and kill off what remains of this penalty. That's 25 seconds remaining. They've got a short-handed goal. They've done well out of it, and sadly the Dragons have not had much offense, if any, during this power play.
Yeah, it's just that one quick. Oh, you can't afford to fan.
Davies fans on that pass in his own zone. That's a mistake. As the Dragons look to set something up, as the penalty now comes to an end. Gilbert is back on the ice, and unfortunately for the Dragons, they have not been able to capitalise at all.
No, they'll be ruining their opportunity now.
Into the corner to Matty Barlow. And the Wild looking to break out. No, Dragons turn it around. It's 2-on-1 the other way. Shot!
Oh!
Unable to capitalise on that. Two men facing down the netminder. That really they should have tried to convert there. Puck got caught up in the States and a deke, and it's 3-on-1 the other way. 1-2, and it's in! Barlow from Gilbert, schooling the Dragons early in this game.
Well, we've mentioned it already. They skate at ease, casually carve away that Dragons defence, and a 1-2, it's in the back of the net. And Dragons are now ruining the opportunity they've missed. The Wild take a 3-0 lead.
Dragons are back on the power play. Last time that favoured the Wild. The Wild scored short-handed earlier in this period as Fellows skates that in. Couldn't get the puck to number 9, Evans. As the Wild pin Meadows up against the board. Shot on net there. Wild get it in clear. Down into the Dragons zone. Plant's going to go back for that. Cross ice pass to Evans. And Meadows couldn't reach Plant with that. Turns back round. And the Wild get to play a little keep away again. Almost halfway through this power play opportunity for the Dragons, and only one good shot on net.
I must say, Dave, tonight it's these new Dragons shirts they've got a little difficult to see the numbers on them.
They are tough for us commentary folk.
Oh.
And I give props to the designer of the Widnes Wild shirt for making the numbers so easily accessible. 35 seconds left in the power play for the Dragons as they get one in. It's a goal for the Dragons, a power play goal.
And it looks like Evans has got it.
Put the puck on the net and good things will happen, and the Dragons finally get on the scoreboard. 30 seconds remain on the power play and 45 seconds left in the period. Wild are now 5-on-4. That first penalty is expired, which I believe was a trip. And Fico holds that in for the Dragons. Dragons really need to get that puck in front of the net.
No,
the Wild turn it round. Dump that down onto the Dragons' net. And that's everything they needed to kill off that penalty, as Lavery's going to hold on to that puck. And with 1 second remaining in the power play, the Dragons have missed their greatest opportunity of the game.
Well, I think it's a little bit more than 1 second, Dave, but
on the power play, there's only 1 second, Gary.
On the power play, 1 second, but 9 seconds remaining in the game, and the one thing you don't want is the Wild sitting right in front of your net.
Seconds remain in the first period as the Wild skate that in. It's back to 5-on-5, full strength hockey. And they're going to go into the locker room happy with that performance. 3-1. And the Dragons really need to think about what went wrong this period. Need to start moving the puck more. We'll see how things go. Tough first period for the Dragons and textbook for the Widnes Wild. How will things fare in the second period? We'll find out shortly. Don't go away. Face off just outside the Dragons zone, and the Dragons now go on the assault, but it's stopped by the Wild. They turn that round. End-to-end passing there.
Oh.
Dragons looking to skate that in.
Oh.
Evans tries to get it out front. It's knocked clear by Gilbert. And it's stopped by Humphreys, who turns it back round for the Dragons. Turner dumps that in for the Wild, and Gilbert the other way, shot! That's stopped. Gilbert combining for some of our highlight goals so far this game. And the Dragons have really struggled getting it out of their zone so far this game. We'll see how they fare in this second period. Start of this game was fast-paced, and as soon as the Wild took that lead, I think heads dropped a little. Oh. Keating tried to get that past the Wild, but Gilbert turned it round.
The thing is, Dave, the Dragons only need one goal and they're back in this, so don't write them off just yet, but it's a promising Wild team, I must admit.
That's right. The Wild are looking as strong as they always do when we come see them here on Drop the Puck.
Oh,
and as I say that, the Wild get another goal.
Well, our replay will show that, and it's
Nick Manning, by the looks of it, who got that goal.
Yeah, it's the pressure's just piling on for the Dragons, and the Wild seem to be doing a good job tonight of taking a 4-1 lead.
So the Wild extend their lead by another goal with 2 minutes gone in the second period. How will the Dragons respond? They need to get out of their zone. The Wild successfully having pinned the Dragons in for most of the first period. And again, just chipping away at Fico's stick there. Managed to get the puck clear. And the Wild take back possession. Brittle to Barron. Ollie Barron, top goal scorer for the Wild, takes another shot. That's stopped by Lavery. And so the Dragons on the power play for the next 2 minutes. A hooking penalty assessed to Turner. The Dragons really need to make this pay now. Loose out front, shot! Barron turns it round. Down the ice, here's Meadows. Minute and a half left in the power play. Under pressure from Stu Brittle. Brittle takes the puck. Sends it cross ice. Wild kill off a little time. A minute remaining in the power play for the Dragons, and the Dragons seem to be penned in to their own end. .45 seconds, and finally the Dragons are into the Widnes zone. No, it's back out to Ollie Barron. Barron takes his time, sends it across to Offord. To Hughes, playing a little keep away, and the Dragons have barely had any possession this power play. Just about onside as they skate that in. Shot on Crosby. First shot of the power play, and it's sent back down. Ollie Barron skating for that. Could be one-on-one the other way. Deeks.
Oh!
Wide open net there. 12 seconds remain in the Dragons power play, and it's all Widnes. Brittle has the puck taken off him by the Dragons. Dragons back the other way. It's 3-on-2.
Oh,
on net, puck's loose out front, and it goes in. It's a goal for the Dragons.
And it looks like it was Steve Fellows.
Just as the power play expires, the Dragons get one on the board.
Well, it seems to be a cluster of players fighting for that loose puck in front of the net. And Fellows just gets his stick on it, puts it away into the net, and that gives the Dragons a bit of a lifeline. Widnes still in the lead, 4-2.
Face-off won by Stuart Brittle. Hughes sends that to the line. Barron couldn't get that in, but it's sent in by Offord. Around the back of the Dragons net. Played out front, Brittle takes a shot. Heavy shot, but it didn't quite hit the net. Puck's loose out front, sent round the boards. And under pressure, Dragons forced them to give up, and it's a race for the puck. Shot! It's a goal! Michael Fico, in a spectacular move, just managed to beat out that Widnes Wild player for the puck and put it past Crosby.
Yeah, it was a neck and neck race there, but the height of Fico give him that extra length, sticks his stick out, slots that puck past the keeper, and the Dragons have got themselves a point back, making it a 1-point game. 4-3 to the Wild.
Wild from the face-off. They're on the power play. Penalty was assessed to Dan Meadows for a trip. And now the Wild have 2 minutes in which to regroup and try and extend their lead, as Fico goes back for that for the Dragons. Held up in the boards, in the corner. Wild get it to the blue line, takes a shot, does Barron. Offord holds it in. Fellows takes it, tries to clear, trickles away, but no, held in, and then a miscue by Brittle sends it off the boards and back out to neutral ice. Wild back on side. Barron to Brittle. Puck loose out front. Netminder's out of the crease. And nice work by Stephen Fellows there, keeping the puck behind the net while the netminder had a chance to re-establish their position. Brittle with a shot into the top of the shelf. Brittle with a textbook goal there on the power play. Brings the lead back up to 2 for the Wild.
Yeah, Brittle's on a hat-trick now.
The Wild break away. They are on the penalty kill. You wouldn't believe it to look, as they put some pressure on the Dragons once again. And it's up to Steve Fellows to bring that in for the Dragons. Across to Fico. Couldn't quite reach it. It's sent into the corner behind the net. Turner banks it off the boards. Gilbert down in the Dragon zone. Beats out the Dragons to that puck. Going to try for the wraparound. No, he slams on the brakes, turns it round. He's waiting for somebody there. Decides to try and put it across the net himself. Couldn't quite reach it. And this is good time management by the Wild. It's killed off nearly half of that power play. As Fico sent that one wide. Egerton tries to hold up the Wild on the boards. Can't quite do it. Gilbert putting Thomas under pressure. Dragons get it back out front. Slap shot. Goes too high. Thomas in the corner. Tries to get it to Fico, but it's picked up by Brittle. Fico recovers the puck. Has to get it to the line. He does. Another shot, and it goes past Phil Crosby. Crosby looked annoyed there with Turner, who screened the shot for his netminder. And the Dragons have a power play goal.
Yeah, they've got to be happy. They're fighting chance now. 1 goal in it. The Wild still leading it, 5-4.
They line up in the Widnes zone. And the Dragons could do with a face-off win here. They get it. No, it's the Wild's puck. And they just tame that and clear it. Barlow goes one-on-one with Fellows and is brought down. And that's Fellows very firm on his feet there. Go toe-to-toe with him and he'll bring you down.
Fans are getting a bit frustrated.
Yeah, as we enter the final 40 seconds of the second period, as things have started to get a little physical.
Well, dare I say it, Dave, what we're seeing here is an unusual look at the Widnes side.
Turns around, Evans took a shot. Crosby splayed across the floor there, making the save. And the Dragons almost going into that period break. Even Steven.
Yeah, as I was saying, Dave, a different look Dragons team and certainly a different look Wild team. As a result on the scoreboard at the moment says 5-4 in favour of the Wild.
Welcome back to Drop the Puck. You can just see on the scoreboard there that one of the Dragons players is in the box. We have a 2-minute minor assessed to the Dragons, just waiting to find out what that call is. When the Dragons are on the penalty kill for the next 2 minutes. And it's been a eventful game, shall we say, Gary?
Yeah, it hasn't gone to form. We've got a feisty Dragons team that's certainly taken the game to the Wild.
We've had a bit of everything tonight. We have a 2-minute minor assessed for unsportsmanlike conduct to the Dragons. Not sure what the incident was. We didn't catch that. Must have happened during a period break.
And it's assessed on Gareth Davis. Unsportsmanlike.
And so Dragons skate that in. That's Chris Keating there, eating up some of that penalty time. About 40 seconds remain in that power play opportunity for the Wild. Not managed to get much out of it so far. Meadows clears. Much more conservative Widnes Wild to start this period.
Oh, it's
shot! He speaks too soon.
And it's that man, Oliver Barron.
Oliver Barron doing what Barron does best. Put the puck in the back of the net. And the Wild extend their lead. The Wild back on the power play. So close! Hughes just had an empty net there, but he had the Dragons establishing some pressure there. Evans is stationed in front of his own net. And I was about to say how successful the Wild have been on power play opportunities this game. They've extended their lead so far this period on a power play. Can they do it again? No shot! And they do! Oliver Barron again just does what he does best. Put the puck on the net in those power plays. And another costly mistake by the Dragons secures a commanding lead for the Widnes Wild.
Yeah, he's just sitting at the blue line there, Dave. Takes that puck, slaps it straight down the middle into the back of the net, and it's a 7-4 for the Wild.
So Meadows has gone to the box for a high stick as Fico is brought down there by the Wild.
I have a feeling that's not the last we're going to see of that.
Dragons fans underneath our broadcast position furious that wasn't called. I think the referees have done a good job of keeping this as fair as they can tonight.
Well, it's certainly riled the Wild up a bit, because you can see they're starting to step it up a little.
To Haslam, new addition to the Wild. Slap shot, and it's knocked down the rink. Fico, one-on-one with the netminder. Netminder comes out, Crosby. Puck just gets loose. Puck's loose out front.
Oh my goodness.
The Dragons had a golden opportunity there, couldn't quite capitalise on it, and another slap shot. Puck's loose. Can Kemp get the rebound? Trickles it through to Haslam, couldn't reach it. Haslam takes a shot straight into the top corner. Haslam gets in a goal for the Widnes Wild. And that commanding lead has been extended.
From one end of the ice to the other, Dave. Haslam positioned right in the corner here. Slots it into the goal. They lead 8-4.
Dragons won the face-off. Lose the puck immediately to Ollie Barron. Just effortlessly skates that in. Protects the puck all the way. Got right in front of the net. And now Brittle gets it to Barron.
Oh, is it the post?
Off the post. Dragons flailing around trying to protect the puck. Into the corner. Back out in the Wild, hold it in. Dragons just desperate to clear that puck, and they do. 2-on-1 the other way. Evans with a shot. It's a goal for the Dragons. Grant Evans.
Well, that mistake made on the wing there. Fico picks it up, skates down ice, crosses it across to Evans, just sitting there right in front of the goal, slots it past the keeper, and the Dragons peg one back, while the leading 8-5.
From the face-off, the Wild take a shot at it. Manning, shot! It's a goal for Stu Brittle. Back on the boards. Straight from the face-off, gets it past Tegan Lavery.
And that's 4 goals for Brittle tonight. He's got to be happy with his performance.
Dragons win the face-off there on the power play. We've got Matty Barlow in the box. Roughing penalty assist to Barlow, as we thought. Gilbert. And a Wild showing that skill and puck possession as the Dragons managed to take it away. It was given away. Humphreys caught looking at the puck there. Don't know why he didn't take that and move. As Ratcliffe is held up in the corner.
It's these silly mistakes, Dave, that let the Dragons down a little bit.
Puck's loose out front. Lavery goes for it. Misses the puck. And it goes in the net courtesy of Mikey Gilbert. Gilbert kept his eyes on the puck at all times. Well, an opportunity struck, and we have another short-handed goal assessed against the Dragons.
Yeah, Lavery just failed to get a hand on that shot. Puck's floating out. Gilbert just taps an easy one in. 10-5 to the Wild.
So another short-handed goal assessed to the Wild. The Dragons 5-on-4, and it wasn't enough to keep the puck out of their own net. A minute remains in that power play. It's a power play to the Dragons, although you wouldn't really know. The Dragons look to break out and do something. Evans with a shot. Slap shot just beats Phil Crosby out there and gets another point on the board.
Well, he saw his chance and he took it, and that's Evans on the board again.
And again, it's a story of the game for the Dragons. That one shot that counts, even when you've not had possession for as long as they have.
No, they've got to be happy with their performance, but it's still not enough though.
So, another goal for the Dragons. A high-scoring affair this has been tonight. But they've got 5 minutes to try and get their way back into this. Seems an impossible task at this point, but anything can happen in this league.
And that's a hat-trick for Evans tonight. He should be happy with that.
As we say, Gary, Wild have certainly dominated on puck possession, but those shots, as we say this, Offord skates it in. Barron has it. Loose out front. Dragons clear, but they clear it to the Wild. Wild play a little keep away. 4 minutes remain in the game. They bring it in, 3-on-2. Puck just trickles past the netminder. Around the other side. Slap shot.
Oh, it's gone in!
Goes through the legs of Lavery. And the Wild just at the exclamation point on this game.
Well, Lavery thought she had that covered, but there was enough power on it to make it just trickle between the legs and gone in the net. That's 11-6 in favour of the Wild.
One last run at this for the Wild. Dragons clear, and we've got a player brought down. That's Meadows, and I think that's been a long time coming in this game. The Wild have been antagonised by Meadows for a while, and they've chosen to skate away.
Giving it away.
Here come the Wild again. Shot!
Oh! Barron's going to be disappointed there.
Seconds left in this game. Manning turns it round. One last attempt. Deeks! And that is the end of this contest.
With Ollie Barron and the Widnes Wild. Ollie, a really impressive performance out there from you guys tonight. Almost cementing the argument that maybe Widnes should be a morally team.
Maybe. I think there's a long way to go after that second period performance. I don't think that we're anywhere near good enough. Luckily we stepped up in the third. I think it's difficult playing teams that we are being too disrespectful. D-side 2 and Blackburn 2, they've took some heavy defeats, but we've got to make sure we turn up and put a performance in, because if we don't, as you see, they've finished some goals and they made it difficult for us at times.
Now, you mentioned that second period there. What was said in the locker room at the end of the second to get the guys coming out like that at the third?
I don't know what time this goes out on air, maybe. I don't know if I can say it. But a few words had to be said, and the guys in there know that. I think it's same at every levels of sport. When you're expected to win quite heavily, it's difficult sometimes for motivation, but that's not an excuse. It's a game like any others. It's 2 points on the board that we require. So we got the response in the third that we needed.
Now, most notably there on the ice tonight, the special team units for Widnes doing the job both ends, both on the penalty kill and the power play. Is that something that's been getting worked on recently?
We've needed to work on it because last season and starts of this season we've not converted enough on special teams, so we have been putting a bit of time on that on training. So yeah, we're nice to get a few tonight.
And obviously much needed points there to ever hold the place second in the league so far, chasing down Altrincham. So what's going to be the plan now going into the Hull game?
We've got Sheffield before Hull away, but it's difficult. Hull have put some impressive performances together, and Sheffield's always a battle, so we've just got to remain focused. And it's an old cliche, but we've got to take one game at a time, because you can't look ahead of ourselves. As seen last night, Sutton beat Altrincham 5-0, so that was a big result for them, and Sutton are a good team as well, so it's really tight at the top of that league. Just got to take it one game at a time.
Well, Ollie, good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll catch you soon.
Thank you.
And with Gez Evans of the D-side Dragons too. Gez, an impressive performance there for yourself tonight with a hat-trick.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the boys. Chris Keaton there gave me a few passes. It was all in the open. Couldn't have done much better really. I'm quite happy with the score.
Now, we saw you guys earlier on this season against the Sheffield Senators. Massive difference in the team that we saw out on there in the ice tonight. How do you feel the season's gone so far?
Oh yeah, we've improved by a mile. Looking back at that game, it's unbelievable how far we've come. I think things can only get better, I think.
And now your attention must turn to Hull Jets the next game for your Dragons. We know Hull can do damage, so what's going to be the prep there?
I think we just need to give it to them, take plenty of shots, get to the net like we've done today, pick up the loose puck. I think everyone's ready for it. We just need to keep on top of it now.
Well guys, we'll hopefully catch you again in the season soon, and thanks. And with Mike Mauer of the Widnes Wild. Mike, an impressive result out there for you guys tonight?
Yeah, it was a good result. Second period we were sloppy. We came out, took the 3-1 first period, then we dropped off in the second, underestimated D-side. To their own credit, they played well. It's the hard games to play in. They won't stop working, but we dropped our level. We came out in the third and did a job, so that's all that needed really.
So what was the game plan going into tonight's game, and then was it upset by the performance the Dragons put in?
Well, definitely, yeah. So the game plan was pretty much not to underestimate them, and that's exactly what we did. So mood in the change room was a bit different. Like, we're not as fired up as we would be for Altrincham, Sutton, Sheffield games, but in between the second and third we had to change that. So the mentality changed a lot, and back in, yeah. So we did the job.
Now you mentioned Sheffield there. That is a road game next for you guys, and then after that back here at the Planet Ice Widnes to face the Hull Jets. What's got to be done in preparation to go to Sheffield and try and get the points there, and then carry that through to the Hull game?
I'd say it's the biggest weekend we've had so far. Sheffield are a good team, a lot of experienced players, a lot of young players, quick, real good. We've got to go in there, work hard. We always start sloppy in Sheffield and against Sheffield, so we've got to step up. Then to Hull have been turning teams around. They beat Sheffield, I think it was 10-4 last week, so we can't underestimate them. They're a great team. They've got a good lot of players. Kieran Beach has dropped back down from Pirates, so we know he can do damage, so we just got to turn up and do a job really.
Well Mike, good luck for the rest of the season, mate, and we'll catch you soon.
Cheers, thanks.
Steve Fellows of the Dragons too. Steve, maybe not the result you were looking for there tonight, but still an impressive performance.
I think you're absolutely right there. The performance tonight from our guys was fantastic. You know, last night we got our first win of the season. It's been coming, and the performance tonight, do you know what? The guys never stopped working. They chased, they hunted in packs, and we took it right to the end, right to the third period. And you know, maybe a little bit of inexperience there, and we're missing a couple of guys. But you know what? You've got to be happy with the performance tonight. Yeah.
Now, some critics may say, you know, there's still things for the Dragons to work on there, but as we know, it is a learning curve this season for you guys. How are you finding it from the start of the season?
I think let's have a reality check here, really, isn't it? You know, so let's look at our guys at the beginning of the season. A lot of them come from rec, have not played league hockey before, and then all of a sudden we're in Widnes tonight, and you know, it's pretty much a full house here. We're 1 point in it going into the third period. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be proud of the lads, because we've come such a long way in such a short space of time. So some key performances from the lads tonight. So you know, I'd say our forwards, they once they got the confidence, they were flying round, a couple of passes, quick shots, and you know, we scored 6 goals in their barn tonight. That's really impressive for us. You know, so I'm really pleased for the boys.
Now, your attention's obviously got to turn to Hull next. What's going to be needed to be done there to carry through this momentum of this weekend?
Well, I think what we've been doing in the last couple of games is we've just been very direct, go in the net, throwing the puck on net, go in and picking up the pieces, and we got a couple of goals from that. And you know, not playing too much hockey, a couple of passes in the zone, and keep it simple, and it seems to be working for us at the moment. We're not overcomplicating our style of play, we're just keeping it simple and getting the basics right, and as long as we get the little things right, good things will happen.
Now, last but not least, between the pipes tonight was Tegan Lavery. Tegan's have had a bit of a rough season, you know, stepping up into the game at the moment, but come on leaps and bounds, and we saw that in tonight's performance.
You know, again, we're Dragons 2, we're a development team, and you know, we've got lots of young guys coming through the academy. Tegan's one of them. Again, she potentially could have had a man of the match performance tonight. She was fantastic. And again, like a lot of our guys, every time she gets on the ice, she's getting better and better. And it was a great performance from Tegan. And it's always going to be a tough place to come in, and with the fans tonight, you know, getting on your back and stuff. But she handled it brilliantly.
Well, Steve, we hope to catch you soon in the season again, and thanks.
Cheers, thank you.
Following the storm here at Planet Ice Widnes, and what can we say, Gary? These teams never fail to give us an interesting derby.
You said the word derby. It is a local derby. It's a great game between two really good rivals. But the fans made it for me tonight. It was a packed house, great atmosphere. It had everything for a great game.
High scoring. We look at that first period. Widnes came out of the firing block 5 minutes into the game, put some scores on the board there, and the Dragons were chasing from that point. But going into that period break, the Dragons adjusted. Whatever was said to them in the locker room at that first intermission certainly fired them up.
It certainly did. I mean, to me, looking at it from a neutral point of view, the Wild came into this complacent. They thought they had it in the bag before they even started, and you cannot do that in this league, because it doesn't matter how good you are, a team always finds its form on the day. Every team has its day, and the Dragons certainly nearly had it.
Yeah, and as we kept saying on commentary, although it was a story of great puck possession from the Widnes Wild, when the Dragons did get the puck, they were putting it on net, and they managed to get 6 past Phil Crosby, one of the best netminders in the league. Yeah,
and they've got to be proud of that, and I think Steve Fellows already pointed out, yeah, they're a development team, and they're getting better by game. Come the end of the season, this could be quite an interesting position for the Dragons, because they've got a D1 team that's struggling a little bit, could be at the lower end of the division, and then the number 2 team could be at the top. Who knows? There's still a long way to go here. The Dragons are starting to find their feet, and if they can keep this momentum going, teams are going to start looking over their shoulders.
We are talking about Dragons finding their feet, but let's be honest, Gary, they've got 1 win so far this season. How big a leap is it for them to get back into this?
I don't know. I mean, I think they're like 1 or 2 players away from being a really reasonable team in this division. But saying that, it's all about learning. Steve Fellows already said before, a lot of their players have come from rec league or are lower level players, and if he can keep on the momentum and the development of these guys, only good things are going to happen.
Let's look at the Widnes Wild and some of the players skating tonight. They've been skating together for a long time. Brittle, Barron, players like this who are just tearing up this league.
They certainly are, and I mean, Ollie Barron, quite rightly, Ben pointed out in the interviews there, a lot of people are saying, should this team be in the Morley? I mean, they narrowly missed out on it last year. They could quite easily compete at the Morley. But at the moment, they're stuck in the Laidler. They've got to fight the way, and they're still battling away with teams like Altrincham and Sutton, and it's going to go all the way to the wire. But I still fancy Widnes, even though they didn't have a great performance tonight, they still got the win, they still put the puck in the net. But I think they're my favourites to take the title.
Loads more action to come this season. We'll catch you at our next game.